Meet Naruto. Jiraiya was suddenly awoken by the roar of the nine tails in the middle of the night. The roar woke him up better than 100 alarm clocks could. He jumped out of his bed and ran toward the window, only to have his worst fears confirmed. His first thought was what went wrong, but immediately pushed that out of his mind as he races to his closet to put on his shinobi battle gear. Once he put it on, he jumped out the window and joined the third Hokage in trying to fight the mighty beast, which is the Nine Tails. But they were too late because when they arrived, all they found was the dead body of Minato Namikaze and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki, whose chest had a huge hole in it from where the Nine Tails had stabbed them. As Jiraiya and the third were consumed by anger and sadness, they heard the crying of a baby as they saw on the ground. They then realized that it was Naruto and that Minato had sealed the Nine Tails into his son. As Jiraiya and the third had done many times before, they pushed their feelings out of the way for the moment and got to work on what needed to be done. It took all of Jiraiya's willpower to not attack these idiots that were many of the members of the Civilian Council. Earlier, when he and the third walked in with Naruto, most of the Civilian Council said they should kill the boy, as well as a few members of the Shinobi Council. Jiraiya had gotten fed up with it and said, "Anyone who says we should kill this child will answer to me, because I, Jiraiya, as his godfather, adopt Naruto Uzumaki." "You can't do that," said a brave member of the Civilian Council, but soon stopped talking when Jiraiya used his killing intent on him. Hiruzen said, "No, he can, as godfather, can choose to adopt Naruto, but we can't take Naruto away from Jiraiya unless he is breaking the law, which he is not." As he and Jiraiya started to walk to the door, he said, "The two of you can live in the Uzumaki apartment for now." For years later, Jiraiya was starting to get fed up with Naruto again. Once again, Naruto was asking him the same question, asking him to train him. Jiraiya gave the same answer again, telling Naruto that he will train him when he reaches the age of 5. Jiraiya then took a look out the window and could not believe how lucky he was. Jiraiya then said, "Hey Naruto, how about I take you to the park? I see that Kiba is at the park." "Sure, Uncle Jiraiya," Naruto said as Jiraiya grasped Naruto and used the body flicker to get to the park. At the park, as soon as Naruto and Kiba saw each other, they started running towards each other. Jiraiya just smiled as he remembered when used to be concerned about Naruto making friends with other kids because he had the Nine Tails sealed in him. But Naruto made 3 great friends even with the Nine Tails. Those were Kita, Shikamaru, and Choji. Kiba was Naruto's best friend because he was hyperactive and loved to race against Naruto and fight with his dog Akamaru, which Naruto loved. Shikamaru loved to play shogi with Naruto. He was yet to beat the Nara but had come close to it many times. Lastly, Choji, even though he was fat, did not mind doing physical activities, but he loved having eating contests with Naruto and Kiba, and that completed their odd little group. Jiraiya continued to watch Naruto and Kiba play until it was time for dinner. 4 days till Naruto turns 5. Naruto was getting hungry, but he didn't know what to do since Jiraiya was on a mission. Kakashi would usually then come and take care of Naruto, but he was also on a mission. So, Naruto decided to go to one of his favorite restaurants. When he got there, the owner of the restaurant said, "Go away, fox demon." "Why do you call me that?" asked Naruto. "Because that is what you are. Now go away or I will attack," the owner said. Naruto left as fast as he could after that in tears. Naruto didn't know why the village treated him like that when Jiraiya was not with him, but it had given him the goal to become Hokage to earn the respect of the village. Worse still, it started raining, but Naruto did not mind and tried going home a new way. On his way home, he smelled a wonderful smell bringing him to a ramen shop called Ichiraku Ramen. He peeked around the corner of the booth and looked at the ramen shop in amazement. When he was seen by the owner, he stopped peeking around the corner. But the owner, seeing this, made him a bowl of ramen, and when Naruto came around the corner again and gave it to him. Naruto wanted to eat it slowly, but when he got the first taste of it, he could not help himself and ate it all as fast as he could. Naruto then asked if he could have a second, and Tucci smiled, said, "Of course, your first meal is on the house." Naruto then thanked him and ate his second bowl. Naruto ate 10 bowls of ramen that night. Naruto's 5th birthday. When Kakashi and Jiraiya returned from their missions, they went with Naruto and his group of friends along with Might Guy to Naruto's new favorite restaurant, Ichiraku Ramen. Tucci was happy to see Naruto return with friends and with a smile on his face. After they were all done eating, Kiba, Choji, Naruto, and Might Guy had an eating contest which Naruto won, and Might Guy told him, "Well done, I see the fires of youth burns brightly in you." They then gave Naruto presents. Shikamaru gave Naruto his very own shogi board, telling Naruto that he could now practice on his own, so he could maybe beat him, he said with a smirk. Choji gave Naruto his very own cookbook, which Choji said could make him a great cook. Kiba gave him a ton of dog food and stuff for when he got his own dog. Kakashi gave him some ninja tools. Might Guy gave him some weights, telling him that it will help his fire of youth burn even longer. Jiraiya gave Naruto a scroll with the Shadow Clone Jutsu, which he thought was perfect jutsu for Naruto due to his high amount of chakra. Naruto thanked them all for their wonderful gifts. One day later, Naruto woke up at 6 a.m. sharp and ran over to where Jiraiya was sleeping and woke him up, telling him it was time to train. Jiraiya just sighed and took Naruto to one of the training grounds and told him they would start with his chakra control. Kiba birthday party. Naruto meets a new friend. I hope you liked the first bit, and this one is a bit longer. Naruto had been training for a week, and he had been making good progress. By now he had mastered the tree walking exercises. On this day, he was going to the park to hang out with Kita, Shikamaru, and Choji. When Naruto got there, he challenged Kiba to a race up the tallest tree in the park. Kiba tried to climb up the tree for 5 minutes while Naruto was laughing at him. Kiba then said, "How about you try, Naruto?" "Okay," Naruto said as he walked up to the base of the tree and ran up it. Kiba asked, "How did you do that?" Kakashi then smiled and said, "It appears that Naruto training is going well." "What do you mean?" Kiba asked. "I know Jiraiya started Naruto with chakra control training, and one of the most common training techniques is learning to walk up a tree using chakra. Can you teach us how?" Kiba asked Kakashi. "Sure, and I will raise the stake. Whoever wins the second race shows us where we eat," Kakashi said. Kiba and Choji got to work on the challenge while Shikamaru was watching the clouds. Once both Kiba and Choji learned how to tree walk, they had their race, which Naruto won and chose Ichiraku Ramen. Kiba's birthday party. Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji were invited to Kiba's birthday party at the Inuzuka compound. Kiba had been practicing the tree walking exercises, and when Naruto arrived, he challenged Naruto and Choji to another tree walking race. They picked a tree, and they all ran up as fast as they could, and when Kiba was nearing the top, Naruto yelled out, "I won." Kiba then said, "Oh, come on, it's my birthday, Naruto." "Loser loses," Naruto said. Sum said, "All right, enough of that, let's begin the party." When the party ended, Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji gave Kiba their presents. Shikamaru gave Kiba a shogi board. Kiba complained and said, "You know I hate shogi." "Exactly," Shikamaru said. Naruto gave Kiba a ton of dog food and toys. "Thanks, Naruto," Kiba said. Choji gave Kiba a dog food cookbook. "Now I can learn how to cook," Kiba said. "Hey mom," Kiba asked, yet Sum said. "Can Naruto, Choji, and Shikamaru spend the night?" "Sure," Sum said. Later that night, during the sleepover, they were playing Truth or Dare, and Kiba dared Naruto to prank the Aburame clan. Naruto agrees if they would all go with him. First, they headed to Naruto's apartment where he got his paint bombs and paint bush. They then went to the Aburame compound, and Naruto started placing paint bombs around certain places and set a timer on them. Kiba asked, "What are you doing?" Naruto replied with, "When they all wake up, the paint bombs will go off." "Cool," said Kiba. The next day, they were woken up by the screams of the Aburame when all the paint bombs went off, and they started laughing. Sum, hearing them laughing and knowing what happened to the Aburame clan, entered Kiba's room and asked them if they had anything to do with the Aburame clan prank. They then knew they were in trouble. Sum made them run 5 miles because of what they did. 2 weeks later, in another 2 weeks of training, Naruto had mastered the Shadow Clone Jutsu. He was currently on his way to train with Jiraiya when he heard some sound on Training Ground 8. He went over to the noise and saw Might Guy practicing taijutsu. He was so amazed he walked up to him and asked him if he could help train in taijutsu. Might Guy said, "Oh, I will always help the fire of youth burn in someone." 5 weeks later, Might Guy helped Naruto improve his strength and speed with runs, weights, and taijutsu spars. He was on his way to Ichiraku Ramen, but the owner, who would not let him eat at his restaurant 4 days before his birthday with some of his friends, got drunk. Seeing Naruto coming, they started shouting insults at Naruto like Demon, Fox, and Nine. Soon they started to chase after Naruto and trying to attack him. They chased him into a corner and started throwing bottles at him. Naruto used his new skills to dodge the bottles thrown at him. He then summoned 10 shadow clones to distract the people attacking him. Naruto then tried to escape from them, but they killed his shadow clones before he could escape. They then attacked him and knocked him unconscious, and the last thing he saw was some Umbu Black Ops killing the people who attacked him. Naruto woke up in front of the mighty Nine Tails. "So, we finally meet," says the Nine Tails. "Where am I?" asked Naruto. "Are you saying you have guessed it? Yet I was sealed inside you, Naruto," the Nine Tails said. "Wait, is that why the village treats me the way they do?" asked Naruto. "Of course. Why do you think they treat like that?" said the Nine Tails. "That's not fair. I did not ask to have you sealed into me. I don't want you," yelled Naruto. "You think I wanted this?" yelled the Nine Tails. "Oh, it looks like you are about to wake up," said the Nine Tails. "If you know my name, let me know yours, Nine Tails," said Naruto. The Nine Tails was caught off guard by that, but then he answered the question. "My name is Kurama." "Well, see you later, Kurama." When Naruto woke up, he heard Kakashi talking to Hiruzen, asking about what they should tell him about the Nine Tails. Naruto then said, "That is a bit rude. He does have a name, which is Kurama." Kakashi ran over and asked Naruto if he was okay. Naruto said, "Of course Kurama might attack a village, but he does it because humans try to use him as a weapon." "Can we head home?" Naruto then asked. Hiruzen said, "Yes, of course you can." Well, here is part 2. I hope you liked it. Battle between friends. Well, here is part 3. In the next 7 weeks of training, he had mastered the transformation, body flicker technique, and substitution jutsu. Naruto also wanted to learn the clone jutsu, but Jiraiya said he did not have good enough chakra control. Might Guy also helped Naruto find a taijutsu style that fits him, and he decided on the gentle fist style, which they had gotten from the Hyuga in return for a Uzumaki clan jutsu. But at the moment, he was at the park where Kiba had challenged him to a spar, which he accepted. When the spar began, Kiba rushed at Naruto, and Naruto just sidestepped and hit one of Kiba's chakra points. Kiba yelled out in pain, but then charged Naruto again. Naruto did a string of hand seals and yelled out Shadow Clone Jutsu, as 10 shadow clones appear behind Kiba. Kiba yelled out in surprise as 10 pair of fists hit him from behind in his chakra points. Kiba fell down in pain as they struck. After Kiba got healed up, he went to talk to his mom. When he arrived at his house and entered, he yelled out for his mom. Some rushed downstairs thinking he was hurt, but then saw he was perfectly fine. "Well, what is it?" asked Some. Kiba replied with, "Can you teach me the clan technique?" Sum's face lightened up and asked, "Why do you want to learn the clan technique?" "I just sparred against Naruto, and I could do nothing against him. He easily beat me up," said Kiba. "Well, I can accept that as long as you don't complain," said Some. "Deal," said Kiba. After Choji saw how easily Naruto beat Kiba, he went home to ask his dad to help him get more powerful. When he got home, he yelled out for his dad. His dad ran over to Choji thinking he was hurt. When he saw he was not hurt, he asked, "What is it? Can you teach me the staff and the clan technique?" asked Choji. "Of course," said Choza. When Shikamaru got home, he hoped his mom would not know what happened at the park, but of course she did. When Shikamaru got home, his mom was waiting for him and said, "I heard about how much more powerful Naruto is, and you are falling behind. I think it is time we help you get more powerful." "This is going to be troublesome," said Shikamaru. 1 year later, they were all at the park again, and they were all now 6. Shikamaru had now learned the shadow imitation technique, shadow imitation shadow bind technique, and the shadow imitation field technique. Choji had learned the multi-size technique, partial multi-size technique, human bullet tank, and the spiked human bullet tank. Kiba had learned the Fong passing Fong, beast human clone, Fong wolf Fong, human beast combination transformation, double-headed wolf, and 4 legs technique. Naruto learned finger carving seal, fire sealing method, summoning, lightning flash blade creation, how to use wind release, great breakthrough, wind release, gale palm, wind release, vacuum sphere, wind release, vacuum great sphere, wind release, vacuum wave, water surface walking, and blade of wind. All of them having gained more power and wanted to test out their new skills by sparring against each other. But even though they had been doing a lot of training, they still hung out. It was a 4-way spar. Jiraiya and Kakashi were watching over the spar. Kakashi said, "Let the battle begin." Kiba yelled out Fong over Fong as he and Akamaru launched at Naruto. Naruto did a string of hand seals, then clapped his hands and yelled, "Wind release, gale palm," as a powerful gale of wind knocked Kiba and Akamaru off course. Shikamaru did some hand seals and used his shadow to try and grab Choji's shadow, but he jumped out of the way. While in the air, Choji did some hand seals and yelled out multi-size technique, and then tucked his body into a ball and rolled at Shikamaru. Shikamaru barely dodged Choji's attack. Naruto did some more hand seals and yelled out, "Shadow Clone Jutsu," as 10 shadow clones appear behind Kiba. "That wouldn't work on me again," said Kiba as he did some hand seals and yelled out, "Beast Human Clone," as Akamaru turned into a copy of Kiba and attacked Naruto's shadow clones. Choji was tucking himself into the shape of a ball and yelled out, "Human Bullet Tank." Shikamaru smiled and did some hand seals, and as Choji attacked, he yelled out, "Shadow Imitation Field Technique." When Choji got into Ranger, he got struck in place by the shadow, and Jiraiya said, "Choji, you lost. Shikamaru, let him go." "Sure," said Shikamaru. Akamaru manages to kill his shadow clones as Kiba and Naruto was in a taijutsu battle. Naruto was winning, so Kiba said, "I won't hold back anymore," as he did some hand seals and said, "For legs technique." "Good, now I can go all out," said Naruto as he took the weights off his legs. Kiba and Naruto ran at each other as they began to fight. Naruto dodged one of Kiba's attacks and hit Kiba one of Churka Point. Kiba yelled out in pain as Naruto hit 4 of his other Churka Points. Akamaru then joined up with Kiba, then said, "Now you are done for Naruto." "Yeah, right," said Naruto as Kiba did some hand seals and yelled out, "Human-Beast Combination Transformation, Double-Headed Wolf," as he and Akamaru turned into a 2-headed wolf. Naruto just smiled and did some hand seals and yelled out, "Wind Release, Vacuum Great Sphere," as he launched a sphere of air at the 2-headed wolf. Kiba and Akamaru could no longer keep the 2-headed wolf. Kakashi, seeing this, said, "Kiba, you lost. Get out of the spar area." Naruto then did some hand seals and yelled out, "Shadow Clone Jutsu," as 100 shadow clones appear near Naruto. Naruto told the shadow clones to attack Shikamaru. Shikamaru, seeing all of those shadow clones charging at him. Shikamaru did some hand seals and yelled out, "Shadow Imitation Field Technique," as all of Naruto's shadow clones stopped in their tracks. Naruto just smiled and put more Churka into his shadow clones, and they started to move again. Shikamaru put more Churka into his shadow, and Naruto added more Churka to his shadow clones. Shikamaru added as much Churka as he could to his shadow, but he could barely keep them in place. Naruto just smiled again and did some hand seals and yelled out, "Wind Release, Gale Palm," as he threw a kunai and used the Wind Release, Gale Palm, to speed it up. Shikamaru had let go of the shadow clones to avoid the kunai. The clones then rushed Shikamaru, and he just said, "I give up." Training Ground 7. "You wanted to meet me here, Uncle Jiraiya," said Naruto. "Yes," said Jiraiya. "So, what am I going to learn how to control Kurama Churka?" guessed Naruto. "No," said Jiraiya. "I am going to teach you some other element justice." "What type of element justice?" asked Naruto. "Earth," said Jiraiya. "Why Earth?" asked Naruto. "You have many powerful jutsu, but you are not able to hide very well, and there are many Earth justice that could help you like that." "Oh, okay," said Naruto, "but which Earth justice?" "Earth Release, Double Suicide Decapitation Technique, Earth Release, Subterranean Voyage, and Earth Release, Earth Shore Return, so you have some sort of defense." "Okay," said Naruto. "Now let's begin," said Jiraiya. Naruto had been training in Earth Release for 5 weeks and had mastered Earth Release, Double Suicide Decapitation Technique, and Earth Release, Subterranean Voyage. He was also near mastering the Earth Release, Earth Shore Return, and Mike Guy said he was getting way better at taijutsu, and they had up his leg weights to 100 pounds on each leg. Naruto was practicing when they heard a noise in the nearby woods. Fourth one is going to be fun. New friend, Naruto birthday. Well, here is part 4. I hope you enjoy. Naruto and Jiraiya went to go see what that noise was. When they got over to where the sound came from, they saw Sasuke and Itachi practicing using shuriken. Jiraiya was amazed at how accurate Itachi was, and he knew it was Itachi because he saw him turn off his Sharingan. "Cool," said Naruto. Sasuke thought Naruto looked strong and wanted to see if he was more powerful, so he asked Naruto to a spar, and Naruto, of course, accepted. Jiraiya said, "Remember no kunai, Naruto." "Of course, Uncle Jiraiya." They both got into their battle stances and began their spar. Sasuke launched himself at Naruto, but he sidestepped and hit one of his Churka points. "I win," said Naruto. But Sasuke tried to knock Naruto off his feet, but Naruto dodged his attack and kicked him in the face. "I think Naruto wins," said Itachi. "I will beat you soon," said Sasuke. Naruto just laughed and said, "Get in line." The next day, while Naruto, Choji, and Shikamaru were playing at the park the next day. Sasuke was searching for Naruto. Sasuke saw Jiraiya at the training ground and asked him where Naruto was. Jiraiya told him that Naruto was at the park. Sasuke headed to the park and saw Naruto and Kiba racing up a tree. Sasuke looked at them in amazement. Sasuke went up to Naruto and asked him if he could teach him how to tree walk. Naruto agrees, saying, "If I want you to stand a chance against me, I will have to help you get more powerful." Kiba laughed and said, "He easily beat me in a fight." "Well, I will just have to get more powerful," said Sasuke. After Sasuke mastered the tree walking, Kiba challenged Sasuke to a sparring match, and he accepted. Kiba and Akamaru ran at Sasuke, but he dodged his attack and was kicked in the chest by Sasuke. Kiba got up and did some hand seals and yelled out, "Beast human clone," as Akamaru changed into a copy of Kiba. They both attacked Sasuke. He parried both attacks, but Kiba kneed him in the chest. Sasuke backed up and jumped in the air and did a roundhouse kick that Akamaru was barely able to block. Kiba then tried to punch Sasuke, but he parried and kicked Kiba in the ribs. Akamaru then attacked Sasuke, which he dodged, but Kiba then kicked Sasuke in the chest. But Sasuke managed to punch Kiba in the chest. Akamaru tried to kick Sasuke, but he grabbed Akamaru's leg and punched him in the head. Kiba got angry and did some hand seals and yelled out, "For legs technique," as he rushed at Sasuke. Sasuke jumped over Kiba and kicked him in the back. Sasuke then punched Kiba in the face, saying, "I won." "It looks like Sasuke is better than Kiba in taijutsu by a lot," said Naruto, smiling. Naruto's 7th birthday. Naruto invited Kita, Shikamaru, Choji, and Sasuke. They went to Ichiraku Ramen for his birthday dinner. After they had a good meal, and Kiba, Choji, Naruto, and Sasuke had an eating contest, which of course Naruto won. Choji gave Naruto some of his own food recipes. Choji said, "I recommend trying the brownies recipes, they are wonderful." "Thanks, I will invite you over soon to help me make them," said Naruto. "Yay," said Choji. Shikamaru gave Naruto a book on war strategy. "This will help you plan your fight better." But I don't need to use strategy to beat you," said Naruto with a smile on his face. "We will see about that," said Shikamaru. Kiba went around a corner of another building and came back with his mom Tsum and a cute-looking dog and a scroll. Kiba said, "Remember when we gave you all that dog food for when you get a dog? Well, now you have a dog, and his name is Atlas. And in this scroll are Fong passing Fong and four-leg technique, which the elders allowed me to give to you." "Well, here is my gift. I doubt it will seem that good now, but here it is," said Sasuke, as he gave Naruto a scroll with fire release, fireball technique. Atlas then jumped into Naruto's hands. "This is my best birthday ever," yelled Naruto. When Naruto got home with his dog Atlas, he went to where he put the dog food, toys, and bed Kiba gave him on his 5th birthday. He got the dog bed out and set Atlas in it, and got out some dog food and fed it to Atlas. Atlas happily licked the food out of his hand. Naruto just smiles. Jiraiya walked over to where Naruto was and asked, "Where the heck did you get the dog from?" "Kiba gave it to me, and his name is Atlas," said Naruto. "And look at this, they gave me a scroll with Fong passing Fong and four-leg technique," said Naruto. "Wow, they really like you," said Jiraiya. "I know, right," said Naruto, smiling. One day later, Naruto, Kiba, Choji, and Sasuke went to the park to try and train Atlas. Kiba said, "Let's see how fast he is." "Shouldn't we train him to obey Naruto and tricks?" asked Sasuke. "That's the neat bit, Sasuke. Atlas has already knows those things," said Kiba. "Wow, cool," said Choji. "I know, right," said Kiba. "Come on, Atlas, let's go race Kiba and Akamaru," said Naruto. "Come on, Choji, let's do it too," said Sasuke. "Fine," said Choji. "I will easily win," said Kiba. "Let's find out," said Naruto. "Ready, begin," yelled Kiba. Naruto picked up Atlas and ran over to the end of the race. "No fair," said Kiba. "You have to have your dog get there on its own power." "You're just mad I won again, Kiba," said Naruto. "No, you did cheat, Naruto," said Sasuke. "Why do I always come in last in a race?" asked Choji. "You don't practice racing or running, we do," said Sasuke. "Hey Kiba, for my birthday, can you get me a dog?" asked Sasuke. "Depends on what my mom says," said Kiba. "Wait, let's go to my house, get the scroll Sasuke gave me, and let's see who can master it the fastest," said Naruto. "Well, I win since I already know it," said Sasuke. "Then after we all master it, we will see who can use it the best," said Kiba. "Wake up, Naruto, it's your first day of school," said Jiraiya. "Fine, I will go," said Naruto. Part 5 is when he heads to school. Welcome to school. Naruto met up with Sasuke, Kiba, Choji, Shikamaru on his way to the academy. Are you going to show your strength? Kiba asked Naruto. I think I will aim to be avenged, said Naruto. Why don't you want to show everyone how powerful you are? Asked Sasuke. I do, but can you guys keep a secret? Asked Naruto. Of course, they all said. Well, I have the 9 tails sealed inside me, said Naruto nervously. That doesn't matter, but why do you want to be avenged? Said Kiba. Because if I do really well, some people would say Kurama is helping me, said Naruto. Who is Kurama? Asked Shikamaru. Oh, sorry, Kurama is the name of the 9 tails, said Naruto. Well, I wish I could just go easy and be avenged, but my dad wants me to do my best because I am sadly a Uchiha, said Sasuke. Well, let's start heading to school. We don't want to arrive late for the first day of school, said Choji. When they arrive at the academy, Naruto saw that most of the teachers looked at him with hate, but he noticed one of them tried to hit it in his eyes and push it back. The teacher of his class hated Naruto because the 9 tails killed his wife. He wanted to sabotage Naruto training, but he thought it would look suspicious if he did it on the first day of school, so he decided to test all of their skills. The first bit of the test was a test of aim. Most of the people did pretty bad, but Sasuke was able to hit the target with the skill of a genin. Naruto then went up and did a bit better than most of the other people. The assistant teacher Iruka Umino noticed that Naruto used his left hand, but Iruka noticed that he was right-handed, so he knew he was holding back. For the next test, it was a taijutsu battle against one of the teacher who was Iruka. Most of them were beaten by Iruka in under 2 minutes, but Sasuke lasted for 3 minutes. Iruka was not fighting at full strength against them, but he decides to fight Naruto at full power. Iruka rushed Naruto, and Naruto parried the attack and tried to kick Iruka in the ribs. Iruka dodged and tried to punch Naruto in the chest when he parried. He then tried to knock Naruto off balance, but he jumped over it and managed to kick Iruka in the chest. Iruka then tried to use a chop on his shoulder, but he kicked Iruka away. Iruka rushed at Naruto again and tried to punch him, which Naruto parried, but Iruka managed to knock Naruto off of his feet. Their fight had lasted for 5 minutes, and Iruka still felt like Naruto was holding back. The next test was Jinjutsu, which Naruto failed, but Sasuke passed. The next bit was a written test, which Naruto made sure to only get a 85% on it. The next day when he got there, he saw he was in a group with Kiba and Choji. The main teacher decides to teach everyone Jinjutsu. Iruka said he would teach Naruto Jinjutsu because Naruto did really bad on the test for it. With Iruka's help, he had managed to learn demonic illusion, hell viewing technique. At the end of the week, Iruka asked to see Naruto and many of the kids, though he got in trouble. When Naruto got to Iruka, asked why Naruto was holding back on the test they had. Naruto thought about if he should lie to Iruka or not, but decided not to since he helped him learn demonic illusion, hell viewing technique. Naruto said, I guess I trust you. Well, I held back, because if people saw how powerful I am, people might think I am using Kurama to get more powerful. I understand, but who is Kurama? Asked Iruka. Oh, sorry, that is the name of the 9 tails, said Naruto. I didn't know he had a name, said Iruka. Well, of course, he does. He is not an animal, but basically the most powerful summon in the world, said Naruto. Wow, and you have him sealed inside of you, said Iruka. Yeah, said Naruto. If you want to see how strong I am, come to Training Ground 7. Iruka met Naruto and Atlas at Training Ground 7. All right, you wanted to see how powerful I am. I challenge you to a spar. I accept, said Iruka. Good, I will give you 5 minutes to plan. Iruka then started feeling a bit scared. After 5 minutes passed, they began their battle. Naruto did some hand seals and said demonic illusion, hell viewing technique. Iruka saw the dead body of all of his students in front of him. Iruka recognized that it was a Jinjutsu and immediately released himself from the Jinjutsu. Iruka then barely dodged attack from Naruto. Iruka tried to create some distance from Naruto. Iruka then did some hand seals and yelled out, water release, gunshot, as an orb-shaped water projectiles which was launched at Naruto. Naruto then did some hand seals and yelled out, fire release, fireball technique, which countered the water attack. Iruka was amazed that Naruto could do such a powerful jutsu. Naruto then did even more hand seals and yelled out, shadow clone jutsu, as 100 shadow clones appear behind Iruka. Iruka turned around and did some hand seals and yelled out, fire release, Phoenix Sage Fire technique, which killed 87 of Naruto's shadow clones. The real Naruto did some hand seals and said, Earth release, subterranean voyage. Iruka threw 10 shuriken, which killed 5 of the shadow clones. The remaining 7 shadow clones rushed Iruka, putting him on the defense. Naruto was right under Iruka and did some hand seals and said Earth release, double suicide decapitation technique. Iruka did hand seals as fast as he could and yelled out, substitution jutsu. You are very strong, said Iruka as he did some hand seals and said, fire release, fireball technique, as a fire came right at Naruto. Naruto did some hand seals and yelled out, Earth release, Earth shore return, as a wall of earth stopped Iruka attack. Naruto then used the body flicker technique to appear behind Iruka and hit 2 of his chakra points. Naruto said, when I could have just killed you or used 8 trigrams 32 palms. But then Iruka disappeared because Naruto just hit a clone. Then Iruka said, you got too cocky, and I was able to sneak up behind you, and now I could kill you. Well, I guess you win, said Naruto. Yes, but I am amazed that you did so well, said Iruka. Yeah, and I wasn't even going all out, said Naruto. What do you mean, asked Iruka. Well, I can use some of Kurama Churka to help me in a fight, said Naruto. Well, I will give you your test twice, so I can test out your real skill, said Iruka. Fine, said Naruto. 5 days before winter break. On his way to school again, Naruto saw 3 boys making fun of the shy Hinata. Naruto decided to help her and ran over to her. Naruto said, leave her alone. Or what? Said the tallest one of the boys. Or I will deal with you, said Naruto. Let's see, said the kid. I will give you one more warning, said Naruto, who did not want to hurt them. Sounds to me like you were scared, said the kid as he tried to punch Naruto. Naruto easily parried and said, no, I just didn't want to hurt you, but now you give me no choice but to fight back. One of the other kids tried to attack Naruto, but he parried and kicked him in the chest. He then kneed the person who attacked him first. The third kid tried to punch Naruto in the face, but he blocked and punched him in the chest and knocked him off his feet. They all tried to attack Naruto at the same time, but he ducked under all of them and punched them in the chest. Naruto then said, I will give you one more chance before I really begin this fight for real. He is bluffing, said one of them. They all attacked Naruto. He did some hand seals and said, Shadow Clone Jutsu, as a clone appeared behind each one of them and turned them around and hit 5 of their chakra points. Hinata noticed that he uses the Gentle Fist. Hinata asked Naruto if he knew the Gentle Fist, which he said yes to. How do you know it? Asked Hinata. Yeah, I know it. I gave your clan one of my clan technique in return, and I can do up to 32 palms, said Naruto. I can only do 16 palms, said Hinata. Well, maybe me and my friends can help you get better, said Naruto. Winter break. Kakashi allows them to use Training Ground 7 to help train Hinata in the Gentle Fist. They were doing training again. It was a spar of Naruto and Kiba against Sasuke and Hinata. Kiba attacked Hinata and she used 4 palms on him, leaving him in pain. Naruto said, Kiba, you idiot, I take Hinata since I also know the Gentle Fist, and you take Sasuke. Sasuke tried to punch Naruto, but he ducked and used 8 palms on Sasuke. Sasuke, you know I am great at dodging and that I have the Gentle Fist. Choji, who was watching, said, it looks like it is the Hyuga versus the Gentle Fist user. Naruto and Hinata attacked each other and Hinata yelled out, 32 palms, as did Naruto, but Hinata dodged one of his attacks and hit him in the chest. You win, said Naruto. Naruto was on his way back home when Itachi appeared in front of Naruto and said, we need to talk. Itachi in school spars. What do you need to talk about, Itachi? Asked Naruto. It is about Sasuke. He thinks of you and Kiba as brothers, said Itachi. Why are you telling me this, Itachi? Asked Naruto. Because he is about to lose his real brother, said Itachi. What do you mean, Itachi? Said Naruto. I mean I will soon have to leave the village, said Itachi. What, why? Asked Naruto. Because I have to kill my clan, said Itachi. What? What? Naruto yelled. Because I can kill my clan, but let Sasuke live or my clan will all be killed, said Itachi. Why? Asked Naruto. My father planned a coup and I have been sent to stop it by killing clan, said Itachi. Who is not part of the coup? Asked Naruto. My mom, all of the kids, Zin, Bzeen, and Gina. But why do you want to know, Naruto? Said Itachi. So, I can save the people who don't deserve to die because they were not part of the coup, said Naruto. You know I will have to fight you, right, Naruto? Said Itachi. Of course, I know that, but I am willing to take that risk, said Naruto. Itachi just smiles and uses the body flicker to get to his clan compound to do his mission. Naruto did some hand seals and said, Shadow Clone Jutsu, as 10 clones appeared near Naruto. Naruto told his shadow clone to find his friends and tell them what he just heard. He then started running as fast as he could to the Uchiha compound. When Naruto got there, he did some hand seals and yelled out, Shadow Clone Jutsu, as 50 clones appeared. 20 of his clones did some hand seals and said, Substitution Jutsu, as the clones disappeared and were replaced with the Uchiha that were not in the coup. Makoto, who was about to be killed, asked, What happened? Why are you here, Naruto? I just saved all of your lives. Get ready for a fight, said Naruto. Naruto, we got your message, said Kiba. Good. You, Uchiha, need to run away. Itachi will kill you but not us, said Naruto. Sasuke, seeing the flames at his house, ran over to it and found Naruto, Kiba, Choji, Hinata, and Shikamaru. Itachi started walking to Naruto saying, I see you kept your word. I thought you knew me better, Itachi, because I always keep my word, said Naruto. Well, you will soon regret what you did, Naruto, said Itachi. Itachi, what is going? Yelled out Sasuke. I am testing how strong I am, Sasuke, said Itachi, by killing our clan. Itachi, yelled out Sasuke. Don't talk about matters you don't understand, Sasuke, said Itachi. I will kill you, yelled Sasuke. Let's see, said Itachi as all the Uchiha aside from Mikoto ran away. Sasuke did some hand seals and said, Fire release, mythical fire flower technique, as many blasts of fire shot out of Sasuke's mouth aiming for Itachi. Itachi easily dodged the attack and did some hand seals and said, Fire release, fireball technique, as a ball of fire came at Sasuke. One of Naruto clones jumped in front of Sasuke and did some hand seals and said, Earth release, Earth Shore return, blocking Itachi attack. Naruto and Kiba then yelled out, Fong passing Fong, as they and their dog both launch at Itachi. Itachi did some hand seals and yelled out, Earth release, rock shield, which kept him safe from Naruto and Kiba attack. Itachi then picked up some dirt, did some hand seals and yelled out, Earth release, stone shuriken skill. Itachi then did even more hand seals and said, Shuriken shadow clone technique, as 100 shuriken came at Naruto. Naruto did some hand seals and said, Wind release, great breakthrough, knocking all of the shuriken away from him. Naruto then used the body flicker to get behind Itachi and used the wind release, vacuum great sphere. Itachi tried to dodge it, but it was too close, and it hit him. Itachi turned around and did some quick hand seals and said, Lightning release, lightning bolt technique, which hit Naruto in the chest. Hinata rushed at Itachi and used 32 palms on him, but he was able to dodge 27 of them. Itachi was surprised by how powerful they were. They were able to fight back astonishingly well. Choji did some hand seals and said, multi-size technique, as he rolled himself into a ball. He then yelled out, spiked human bullet tank, as he rolled at Itachi. Itachi dodged and barely dodged Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique. Sasuke did some hand seals and yelled out, fire release, fireball technique, which Itachi dodged and said, You do not have enough hate, come after me when you have the same eyes as me, said Itachi, turning on his Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke's eyes with that statement turned into Sharingan, but Itachi was already gone. They then went to find the Uchiha, who ran away. When they found them, Naruto offered up the Uzumaki apartment for them to stay at. They all accepted, but Sasuke's mom said she would need to explain what happened to them to the Umbu. When they got to the Uzumaki apartment, and they all were settled down, Sasuke asked to talk with Noro, Choji, Shikamaru, Kiba, and Hinata. Sasuke then asked, Will all of you help me kill my brother Itachi? Naruto thought about it because he knew the true reason why Itachi did it, and he helped save all those who should have been saved, but also said yes as did everyone else. After winter break, they had all done a ton of training during winter break. The story of the Uchiha massacre was that Kiba, Sasuke, Choji, Hinata, and Shikamaru had tried to fight Itachi. Even though they lost, they held off Itachi long enough for Umbu to arrive. Sakura, seeing Naruto hanging out with the new cool kids, asked, Naruto, you loser, what are you doing with the cool kids like Sasuke? You're right, Sakura. What are you doing near the cool kids like me and Kiba? Said Naruto as they started laughing. Yeah, well, they are actually cool because they fought Itachi unlike you, said Sakura. Yeah, But I bet you I am better than they are, said Naruto. You're not better than me, Naruto, so you're not match for them, said Sakura. Let's see, Sakura, I think we are doing spar today. I hope I get you, said Naruto, smiling. Sakura suddenly felt a bit scared of Naruto. Later that day, they were going to a spar and Irika was explaining the rules. The rules were that you could give up whenever you want to, the teachers pick who wins, and the winner chooses what they have for lunch tomorrow. The Ino versus Choji. Ino said, I will beat you easily since you are way too fat to be a good fighter. Choji said, I wanted to go easy on you, but now I won't hold back. Ino rushed at Choji, but he blocked and punched Naruto in the chest. Choji then kicked Ino in the ribs. Ino blocked Choji's next punch and tried to knock Choji off of his feet, but he jumped over it and kicked Ino in the face. Ino tried to punch Choji in the chest, but he blocked. Ino then kicked Choji in the ribs. Choji then attacked Ino and landed a kick in her chest and a punch in her face. Irika then said, Choji wins. The next fight is Shino versus Sasuke. Sasuke rushed at Shino, but Shino blocked him. Sasuke then kicked Shino in the ribs. Shino tried to punch Sasuke, but he ducked and punched Shino in the chest. But Shino was able to knee Sasuke in the chest. Sasuke jumped into the air and did a roundhouse kick, but Shino blocked it, but Sasuke managed to kick Shino in the chest. Shino then kicked Sasuke in the chest. Shino tried to punch Sasuke, but he caught it and knee Shino in the chest. Irika said, this was a much better fight, but Sasuke wins. The next fight is Naruto versus Sasuke, said Irika. Naruto just smiled and said, you said I was not that strong, Sakura. I am about to show you how strong I am. Sakura suddenly got very scared, but she was still a bit too arrogant and said, this will be easy. Sasuke, Kiba, Shikamaru, Choji, and Hinata just laughed. Naruto said, this will be fun. Sakura rushed at Naruto, but he blocked and hit her in 5 of her chakra points. Then he kicked her in the chest and kneed her. He then hit 2 of her chakra points. Irika looked at Naruto surprised at how much damage he did to her, but then said, Naruto wins. The next fight is Hinata versus Kiba. Kiba launched himself at Hinata. Hinata tried to hit 1 of his chakra points, but Kiba blocked and kicked Hinata in the chest. Hinata attacked Kiba and said, 8 palms. Kiba dodged all but 1 of the attacks, but Kiba found an opening and punched her in the chest. Hinata wanted that and attacked from behind him and tried to hit his chakra points, but Kiba jumped out of the way. Kiba tried to kick Hinata, but she blocked and kicked him in the chest. Kiba did a string of attacks on Hinata, but she blocked them all. Hinata then hit 4 of Kiba's chakra points. Kiba then said, I give up. I can't beat Hinata. The next fight is Choji versus Naruto, said Irika. Naruto rushed at Choji, dodged 1 of Choji's attacks. Naruto then hit 10 of Choji's chakra points. Choji then said, I give up. Naruto is too powerful for me, which shocked most of the class. The next fight is Sasuke versus Hinata. Sasuke launches himself at Hinata and aims a kick, but she blocked it. When Sasuke got to the ground, he parried Hinata's attack and knee her in the chest. He then made a string of attacks while she was dazed, but the final ending blow she blocked and hit 2 of his chakra points. But Sasuke landed a punch in her face. She kicked him in the chest and then yelled out, 32 palms. Sasuke ducked under it and punched her in the chest, then kicked her in the side of her face. Then he did a roundhouse to her chest and finished it with an uppercut. Hinata got up and hit 4 of his chakra points before he kicked her in the chest, let loose 10 punches on her. Hinata tried to hit 1 of his chakra points, but he ducked under the attack and punched her in the chest. She then tried to kick Sasuke, but he grabbed her leg and kneed her in the chest and punched her in the face. Sasuke wins, said Irika, who wanted to stop this fight before it got out of hand because he knew that both of them were more skilled than him. The next fight is Sasuke versus Naruto, said Irika. Most of the class expect this to be a fast fight which Sasuke would win. Sasuke launches an attack at Naruto which he blocked and countered by hitting 1 of his chakra points. He then tried to kick Sasuke off of his feet, but he jumped over the attack and tried to punch Naruto in the face. Naruto dodged and did a string of attacks on Sasuke, ending with an uppercut while he was still dazed. Sasuke then tried to kick Naruto in the chest, and then did a roundhouse which Naruto failed to block. You are stronger, said Naruto as he dodged 1 of Sasuke's punches and hit 2 of his chakra points. Sasuke said, well, time for me to go all out, as he activated his Sharingan. Naruto dodged the first attack, but Sasuke then landed 9 hits on Naruto. Naruto threw a punch at Sasuke which he caught, but Naruto then said, "Atlas now." Atlas attacked Sasuke from behind. Sasuke soon rolled out of way, allowing Naruto to hit 4 of his chakra points. Sasuke then punched Naruto in the chest, but Naruto then jumped back and took off 50 pounds of his weights and got back to the fight. Naruto with Atlas launched a string of attacks, which Sasuke blocked some of, but Naruto ended the fight by hitting 10 of his chakra points. "Naruto wins," said Irika, which shocked the class and made Sakura look at Naruto in a new light. She still thought Sasuke was more powerful than Naruto, but she had to agree that Naruto was more powerful than she was, which made her want to get stronger. Last day of school, Sakura trained harder and harder trying to beat Naruto, but she kept on losing no matter how much stronger she got. But she did learn body replacement technique, clone technique, transformation technique. It was the last year of the academy, and by now Sasuke had an army of fangirls and Sakura was still in love with Sasuke, but her biggest goal was to beat Naruto in a fight. Naruto decides to stop just being average and started to get better and better grades. One day Naruto was called to Training Ground 7 by Jiraiya. When he got there, Jiraiya said, "Hello, Naruto." "Hi, Uncle Jiraiya," said Naruto. "Why did you call me here?" "To say goodbye," said Jiraiya. "Goodbye for what? I know you go on mission from time to time, but you never say goodbye, you just leave," said Naruto. "You're right, but I will be gone this time. Unite the Chunin exams this time, Naruto," said Jiraiya. "Why?" asked Naruto. "I am in charge of the spy network, and I have a lot of people I need to talk to," said Jiraiya. "Fine, but you are training me for the Chunin exams when I get back," said Naruto. "Deal." Jiraiya happy that Naruto was taking it so well. Later that day, after Jiraiya had left, Naruto asked who he would be on a team with. Kakashi said, "Sasuke and Sakura." "Great, I have one of the fangirls," said Naruto. "Naruto, don't speak like that. She might not be as powerful as you or Sasuke, but she would make a great medic because of her chakra." "Yeah, but I just hope she gets more powerful and stops being such a fangirl." "I do too, Naruto, but being with Sasuke so much might lessen her crush on him." "Yeah, or it could make it bigger," said Naruto. "Well, we will just have to risk it, Naruto," said Kakashi. Naruto was laughing at the faces of all of Sasuke fangirls after he beat him in a race fair and square. Ino walked up to Naruto and said, "If you think cheating to win that race makes you cool, then you are wrong, Naruto." "Ino, he won fair and square. He is just faster than me," said Sasuke. "No, he cheated just like he does on the spar when he beat you," said Ino. "What can I say? I just got luckily and fought him after Hinata, which make him nice and tried, but I am faster than him," said Naruto. "You lie? Until a month ago you were way weaker than Sasuke, so you must be cheating," said Ino. "Or I could have just been holding back," said Naruto. "Yeah, right, Sasuke. Why do you still hang out with this loser when you could hang out with me?" asked Ino. "Because he has a good sense of humor, likes to have races and spars, and because he does not have a huge crush on me, right, Naruto?" said Sasuke. "No, I am just better at hiding it," said Naruto, which got both of them laughing. "Oh, and one more thing, Ino," said Sasuke. "Yeah," asked Ino. "I would rather hang out with Sakura than you because she at least tries to do her best, and that is one more reason why I would rather hang out with Naruto, and because he is not you," said Sasuke, which got all of his other fangirls laughing at Ino. Ino right then and there decided to try as hard as she could so that she could get Sasuke to hang out with her. Ino was getting stronger, and she thought that now she could easily beat Sakura in a fight in their next fight. But Sakura beat Ino, which Naruto laughing and said, "If you can't beat Sakura, then you can't beat me." "Yeah, right, Sakura is way stronger than you," said Ino. "But the one time I tried in a spar with Sakura, didn't Irika have to call the match in under a minute?" said Naruto. Kiba, who was with him, said, "He does have a fair point, he is way stronger than me." "Yeah, right, but being stronger than you doesn't mean much," said Ino. That made Kiba mad, and he did some hand seals and yelled out, "Fong passing Fong." "Kiba no," yelled out Naruto as Kiba and Akamaru launched themselves at Ino. Naruto did some hand seals and yelled out, "Fong over Fong." Naruto and Atlas launched themselves at Kiba and knocked him off his path before Ino could react. "Kiba, you know more than to attack people when they make you mad," said Naruto. Ino was amazed that Naruto was able to stop Kiba in midair and attack. "Well, now she can't say you're weak. You stopped me from attacking her before she could react," said Kiba. "Maybe, but I wanted to keep it quiet. And we have already said too much, Kiba," said Naruto. "Fine," said Kiba. Ino said, "Hello, did you forget about me?" "We were trying to," said Kiba, which Naruto laughing. Naruto said, "Kiba, let's head off to school." "Will you skip with me this time?" asked Kiba. "No," said Naruto. "Why, you already know it all," said Kiba. "Well, maybe I don't," said Naruto. "Fine, you wouldn't go," said Kiba. The last day of school. That night, Kurama summoned him to where he was sealed. Kurama asked Naruto if he thought he could pass. "Of course, you know I have been holding back," said Naruto. "I know, but I could help you," said Kurama. "No, Kurama. I know you will try and use me to attack the village," said Naruto. "You are right, most of the time I would, but I have never had a host like you, Naruto. You treat me like a human and not just a wild beast," said Kurama. "Then I guess we can make a deal," said Naruto. "Well, what is the deal, Naruto?" asked Kurama. "You will give me your churka only when I agree to it, or if it is a life or death fight," said Naruto. "Your rules make sense and seem fair. I will agree to it if you also do one thing for me. You do not have to do it now," said Kurama. "What is that one thing, Kurama?" asked Naruto. "Before you die, you release me from this seal," said Kurama. "As long as you won't go back and attack the village," said Naruto. "I agree," said Kurama. "So do I," said Naruto. The first test was a written one, which Naruto finished with a half an hour left. The second bit was Jinjutsu, which Naruto found to be much harder, but passed it as well. The next one was a ninjutsu test, which was easy for Naruto. After the test, Naruto went to Hokage Rock with Kiba, Sasuke, Choji, and Shikamaru. They hung out there talking when Sasuke asked a question. "Out of all of us, who would make the best Hokage?" "I think Shikamaru," said Naruto. "Why me?" asked Shikamaru. "Because you're the smartest out of all of us," said Kiba. "That's not saying a lot, Kiba," said Shikamaru. "I think Naruto," said Sasuke. "You might think so, but most of your fangirls would die if you don't become the 5th Hokage," said Naruto. "Well, thank for giving me another reason for me not to become the 5th Naruto," said Sasuke. "Yeah, and I will get it," said Naruto. "How?" asked Choji. "Oh, I will just annoy the old man and still he makes me the 5th, said Naruto. "So, in other words, you will just meet him," said Shikamaru, which Sasuke and Kiba laughing. When all of a sudden, they saw Mizuki running with a scroll on his back. Naruto wanted to know what he was doing and asked him, "What are you doing, Mizuki?" Mizuki tried to kick him in the chest, but Naruto dodged it. "Why are you attacking me, Mizuki?" asked Naruto as his friends were on their way over here. Mizuki said, "This is all your fault, Naruto, you nine-tails brat." Naruto then knew that he turned on the village and said, "His name is Kurama," as he punched him in the face. "Well, I guess I have time to kill you," said Mizuki. Mizuki tried to punch Naruto, but he blocked as Sasuke did some hand seals and said, "Fire release, fireball technique." Mizuki tried to dodge, but failed and got badly burnt. Choji did some hand seals and said, "Partial multi-size technique." Choji launched his now huge fist and arm at Mizuki, which hit him in the chest, dazing him. Kiba used his Fong over Fong to do a lot of damage. Shikamaru grabbed the scroll from Mizuki and threw it to Sasuke. Naruto got ready and yelled out, 32 palms. Naruto closed 32 of Mizuki churka points. Iruka then arrived and saw the passed-out body of Mizuki. He asked if they did that which they said they did, which surprised Iruka. "One of you have to go with me to explain what happened here," said Iruka. "I will talk to the old man," said Naruto. After Naruto told the third what happened, he said, "I wish to not tell you this till later, but I guess I have to tell you now." "Tell me what?" asked Naruto. "Your parents are the fourth and his wife Kushina," said the third. "What?" said Naruto. "Yes. Do you want me to reveal that to the village now that you have become a true shinobi?" said the third. "No. I want to earn their respect and not get it just because of my father," said Naruto. "Very well, Naruto," said the third. "The bell test. Sorry this part came in so late, but I just had some writer block and with school starting and everything I didn't have much free time. Oh, and thank you guys so much for the 225 views." Sakura was starting to get mad at her new sensei because he still hadn't shown up in an hour. But she noticed that Naruto and Sasuke seemed to have accepted because they both had a book with them. Naruto, pausing in his book, said, "Man, this is a long time to be later, even for Kakashi." "I know, Naruto, what do you think is keeping him from coming?" asked Sasuke. "I think it is just because he is Kakashi." Sasuke said. Naruto, "Yeah," said Sasuke as they went back to their books. Sakura was amazed that both Naruto and Sasuke knew their Jounin sensei. Well, of course Sasuke knew him. She thought he should get the Hokage himself to be his sensei. But Naruto, why did the loser know him? He beat her once in a spar because he got lucky, she thought. But Kakashi then appeared and said, "Meet me on the roof," as he disappeared. Naruto and Sasuke did some hand seals and said, "Body flicker technique," as they both disappeared to the roof. Sakura was then left to walk up to the roof on her own. When Kakashi saw Sakura arrive, he said, "Good, now we can begin." "Begin what?" asked Sakura. "The introduction," said Kakashi. "I will go first," said Kakashi. "I am Kakashi Hitaki. I like things you would not understand at your age. I dislike things you would not understand. And my goal is to keep you all safe, and that is my dream. Now you're turned pink." Sakura blushed at that, but said, "My name is Sakura Haruno. I like." She looked at Sasuke, and her blush deepened. "I dislike Ino Pig. My goal is to beat Naruto in a spar. My dream is to." She looked at Sasuke again, and Naruto wanted to puke as her blush deepened. "And that is it," said Sakura. "Your turn, blonde," said Kakashi. Naruto said, "I like my friends and ramen. I dislike people who hurt my friends and fangirls, and my dream is to become Hokage, and my goal is to be a powerful shinobi." "Your turn, Avenger," said Kakashi. "I like my friends. I hate fangirls. I have no dream, and my goal is to kill my brother," said Sasuke. "Very well, now all of you meet me at Training Ground 7 the next day for the second test," said Kakashi as he disappeared. Sakura then asked Sasuke out on a date, which of course he said no to. Sasuke and Naruto then did some hand seals and said, "Body flicker technique," as they both disappeared. At Hokage Rock they reappeared, and Naruto said, "So we are all here." They had all learned the body flicker technique, so they could all meet up nicely and easily. "Did you guys know about the second test?" asked Choji. "Yeah, I was kind of raised by Kakashi after all," said Naruto. "Well, do you have any ideas on what the test might be?" asked Sasuke. "I think I seen the test once. It is called the bell test, I think, but I don't know more than that," said Naruto. "I feel bad for you guys. You have one of the fangirls on your team," said Kiba. They then spent the rest of the day talking and planning. Naruto and Sasuke just arrived at Training Ground 7 and saw Sakura there. Sakura said, "You're later, Naruto, by 2.5 hours. "What about Sasuke?" asked Naruto. "He is on time. He could never be late," said Sakura, which got Sasuke to smirk at Naruto as he wanted to punch Sakura. Kakashi soon arrived and told them the rules of the bell test. Naruto and Sasuke decided to attack Kakashi. Naruto did some hand seals and said, "Shadow Clone Jutsu," as 100 clones appear. Sasuke did some hand seals and said, "Fire Release," mythical fire flower technique. Sasuke then threw some shuriken in the flames. Naruto then had all of clones attack Kakashi. Kakashi managed to dodge Sasuke attack, but one of Naruto clones landed a hit on him. Kakashi had a hard time dodging all of Naruto clones' attacks. Kakashi found an opening and did some hand seals. Kakashi yelled out, "Fire Release," Dragon Fire technique, which he used to take out all of the clones. Naruto and Sasuke then did some hand seals and said, "Body Flicker technique," to appear behind Kakashi. Naruto then yelled out, "Wind Release, Vacuum Great Sphere." Kakashi managed to dodge it a bit, but most of the attack landed on his back. Sasuke and Naruto rushed forth to take a bell, but he used a substitution jutsu to stop them. Sakura, seeing how well Naruto was doing, thought this would be easy, and she rushed at Kakashi. Kakashi, seeing this, put her in a simple jinjutsu, but she was unable to escape it, which he was surprised by, because it was such a simple one. Naruto used that to launch an attack at Kakashi, but he easily dodged and punched him in the chest. Sasuke used that to take Sakura out of the jinjutsu. Sasuke then told her they had to team up, which she agreed to. Sakura rushed at Kakashi, and he was not ready for it, so he had to use the substitution jutsu. Sasuke used the body flicker technique to appear behind Kakashi as Naruto created 100 clones. Kakashi had to use the body flicker technique to get away from Sasuke before he could grab a bell. All of Naruto clones did some hand seals and yelled out, "Wind Release, Vacuum Great Sphere," as 101 sphere of air were launched at Kakashi. Kakashi knew he might die at that moment, so he uses the substitution jutsu. One of Naruto clones used the body flicker to appear behind Kakashi, who had to use the substitution jutsu. All of Naruto clones were now in all of the place Kakashi would use the substitution jutsu for. Sasuke did some hand seals and said, "Fire Release, Fireball technique," as Naruto appeared behind Kakashi. Naruto grabbed both bells while Kakashi was dealing with the fireball. After Kakashi dealt with the fireball, he said, "You all pass." Kakashi went to tell the Hokage the news.